Expect the Unexpected by Arctic Vulpix. We are now on chapter 50. I believe in the last chapter we had Ruby kind of breaking into Hedy's house and prank and setting traps, and Hedy's roommates set off a couple of the traps that we didn't see, but we heard about them. So yeah. So chapter 50. If you want to follow along, the link is in the description below, as always. So let's get started. Chapter 50. Oops. That night, Hedy arrived after Ruby was already causing nonsense. Rena and Sarah had set off every single trap that she'd left behind, and were not happy with Hedy since she didn't get a hit with one. As she entered the building, a glitter bomb went off in Toy Chica's face, and Toby dived for Ruby fiercely. "Hey, look! The perfect distraction!" He suddenly shouted, making Toby trip, and a couple of other robots jumped in surprise. Ruby jumped over Toby, dropping a paint balloon on his head, and ran away from him laughing. She bounced up to Hedy and held the phone out. "Oh, Allison, thanks, and apologizes for any damage I may have caused." She even managed to keep a straight face as she said that. Hedy huffed, but nodded. "Did she make you memorize that little speech?" "Yep," she grinned, not looking like she regretted anything. "Hedy!" Toy Chica shrieked happily and ran out, making Ruby jump back so that she didn't get run over. "Gah!" He gasped as the chicken awkwardly gave her a tight hug, careful not to pull her out of her wheelchair. Mangle scrambled forward and took her turn hugging Hedy, adding to the mechanic's surprise. "I'm so sorry. Don't leave, please," Mangle signed, her ears back and fearful. Teddy came in from the other room at that moment and looked relieved to see Hedy. "I'm not going anywhere, Max. You don't have to be sorry for anything. I shouldn't have left like that." Hedy apologized after Ruby mumbled a translation to her. She was still not used to sign language, especially if Mangle signed quickly. Mangle did her best to curl up against Hedy, shaking slightly. Ruby gave a slight wave for a rather rude sign over at Toby before signing over to the originals. Blue Rabbit was looking at Hedy with a mix of guilt, stubbornness, and relief from where he was standing, while Baby bounced happily next to Hedy's chair. "We were so worried," she wrung her hands anxiously. "I know. I already got the lecture from Ruby," he sighed. They looked in surprise before all eyes turned to Ruby. "What?" she asked defensively. "You were moping. I hate moping." She then pulled out some movies that got the originals all excited and distracted from the mechanic. Edie shook her head, a small smile on her face. The night guard just couldn't say that she was worried about the toys, too. Before anyone could really do anything, Baby had latched onto Ruby's leg and was beating up at her. She jumped and looked down in surprise, and the others worried that she was going to send him flying again. After a moment, she shrugged and patted the bot's head before going back to what she was doing. That was shocking, to say the least. The atmosphere between Hedy and Ruby seemed to have relaxed somewhat. They still bickered over the smallest things and avoided the opposite group of bots. There was a diminished amount of hostility, and Baby hung onto Ruby's leg, staring at her with adoring eyes for most of the night. Strangely, the night guard didn't seem bothered at all. About halfway through the shift, Ruby heard Hedy's phone ring where she left it on the table. The mechanic was somewhere else working on Mangle, so Ruby answered the phone with her usual lack of concern for others' privacy. "Hello," she greeted cheerily. Hi?" A confused male voice answered. Are you one of these roommates? I need to talk to her." "Nope, I'm night guard," Ruby answered happily. "She's somewhere fixing one of the animatronics. Can I take a message?" For a moment, Ruby was certain the man was having a heart attack on the phone as he spluttered and gasped for breath. "Animatronics?" exploded out of the phone, and she had to jerk it away from her ear. "Ow!" she deadpanned when there was a moment of silence on the line. "Just ow? What the hell are you talking about? Animatronics?" the man demanded, sounding angry and scared. Ruby's eyes narrowed. First, maybe I should ask who the heck you are. I'm her brother. His voice went up a few octaves as he panicked about everything, apparently. Okay. Ruby drew the word out. So then you should know that she's working as the night mechanic at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, right? From the sudden hyperventilating, she guessed he didn't know. Or not. Ruby was starting to worry about killing this guy over the phone now. Oh god, how am I gonna do this bit? We'll just wing it. No, he was muttering to himself. What is she thinking? Buddy? Deep breaths. Seriously, you need to calm down before you pass out. She tried, her voice taking on that soothing tone she used on the kids when they had a nightmare. Wait, you said you were the night guard, he suddenly cried. Yeah, she answered, drawing out the word again. You have to get out of there. My gosh, it's already past midnight. Find Hedy, get out of there, he near screeched. Ruby rubbed her ringing ear before answering. Listen, I'm fine. I've been here before he cut her off. Why does no one ever believe me? Why does he insist on doing these things? I'm driving down there. Don't die before I get there. The man hung up, and Ruby was left staring at the phone, speechless. She glanced down at Phoebe, who was looking at her curiously from his position on her leg. Did you know that he had a brother? He shook his head. Well, I'd better go tell her that our brother is freaking out on his way from wherever. She started to look for Hedy Mangled, having already adjusted to the extra weight. When the box wasn't going crazy from batteries, it was kind of cute. Hey, Hedy? Ruby called when she entered the room with the mechanic. Yeah? She asked, looking up from her work. Your brother's weird, she stated bluntly, holding the phone out to her. He freaked out and is on his way, he said. He looked at her, then to the phone and back again. This continued for a few seconds before her eyes widened in horror as she dropped her tools. You, uh, you didn't let it slip that I'm working here, did you? She asked nervously. Yeah, the night guard answered. He freaked out, completely. My ear's still ringing. You didn't tell your brother that you're working here? Hedy, however, was on a panicking out of her mind planet. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Why? Why did he have to phone now? She buried her face in her hands. Ruby tilted her head and glanced at Hedy and Mangled. Did you know that she had a brother? She signed to Mangled. The fox shook her head, looking surprised and slightly hurt. He said he's driving down. Ruby shoved the phone in her hand. You might want to phone him back before he has a heart attack. Hedy groaned but dialed quickly. Hey, listen. She tried, but the phone exploded into noise. Just listen. She was cut off again. I know. He yelled something that sounded final, and the phone cut off. Hedy glared at it. Oh, detective never listens, she muttered sourly. So, Ruby tilted her head. You have a brother? Yes, she groaned. Who's coming here? Yes. And knows about the animatronics? Yes. And I didn't know you were working here? Yes. Can I? No. Ruby panted. You're no fun. He was silent for a moment. If you won't listen, then you can. Yay! Ruby ran off with Baby still on her leg. Teddy and Mangle stared at Hedy, wondering when she started understanding Ruby speak. Hedy was dressing, not able to focus on anything as she kept glancing at the clock. By her estimations, he would almost be here, especially if he was driving like a frantic maniac like she expected. She tucked on her hair worriedly. Ruby had run off to create welcome traps, but Toby kept setting them off, so that had started a fight between the two. By now, all the bots knew about Hedy's brother being on his way. The toys were curious, and the originals were worried. The main room was empty, luckily, when Hedy heard screeching tires followed by frantic footsteps. Hedy! He screamed as he banged on the door. The mechanic rolled her eyes and headed over to open the door. He was instantly checking her over while trying to drag her out the building. Are you alright? Oh my gosh, what are you doing here? My guard said that was on the phone. Did they? He was definitely starting to have a panic attack. Jeremy, stop it! He was getting annoyed as he dragged her chair towards the door. At that moment, Ruby sauntered into the room and spied them. She raised an eyebrow and tossed a glitter bomb at them. Hedy wasn't happy about the covering of glitter, but at least it gave her the chance to back further into a restaurant while her brother looked around wildly. What the heck? His eyes initially fell on Ruby. Will you just calm down, Jeremy? Hedy huffed, looking annoyed. I'm fine. She is fine. The world's not going to implode, so calm down. His eyes were darting all over the place now, taking in the building, his sister, and the girl standing with an improvised night guard cap on her head. She couldn't have been 18. There was no way. This place is hiring kids now? His voice rose in pitch again. Ruby scowled. I'm not a kid, buddy, and I'm perfectly capable. Listen, Jer, it's difficult to explain. I know you don't like it here, but... Hedy was speaking gently now. Like it. The man glared at her. I hate it. This place is dangerous. You, of all people, should know that. Jeremy! Hedy's tone turned sharp again. Her brother did have that annoying tendency to baby her, which was why she didn't tell him about this job in the first place, among other reasons. His mouth snapped shut, and he looked at her. Things have changed, she assured him. His glare darkened. Are you trying to get killed, Hedy? He demanded, looking furious. The sudden emboldened decided that that was a good time to barrel into the room and latch onto Ruby's leg again. It was still weird how he had grown so attached to the teenager suddenly. Jeremy let out a rather girly, in Ruby's opinion, scream and yanked on Hedy's chair again to try and escape. She wasn't going anywhere though, as BB looked at him, cocked his head, and said, Hi! Jeremy screamed again. What is with all the screaming? Toby demanded, sticking his head into the room. Jeremy froze, staring at the blue route in fear. Hedy face-palmed. Toby stared at Jeremy for a good minute before he screamed, What the heck? You're supposed to be dead! He pointed at the terrified man. Toby, what are you yelling about now? Teddy asked, but stopped dead as he entered the room and spotted Jeremy. His jaw dropped, apparently thinking the same thing. Dead? Ruby asked curiously, patting a purring BB on the head. Hedy was massaging her temples. The rest of the bots trickled in and had similar reactions. Even Puppet was watching from the doorway. All eyes turned to Hedy for an explanation as Jeremy backed up against the wall. He looked like he was ready to bolt, but didn't want to leave his sister there. He sighed as she caught Ruby's expectant look. First off, Jeremy, you can relax. You don't do that anymore. She started. No choice, Toby muttered. Teddy hit him over the head. Shut up, she snapped at the rabbit, having no patience for him at the moment. Anyway, yeah, stop freaking out. Second, this is Jeremy. He's my brother, and he used to be a night guard. Really? Ruby looked interested. But he was dead, Toby repeated. Shut up, Toby, everyone responded. He faked his death. Get you guys to leave him alone on night 6, she explained. Ruby whistled while the others gaped at him. Wow, you made it all to night 6? What the hell is going on here? The poor man cried, still looking torn between running away from them and protecting Hedy. Let me get excited again. They won't hurt you. They can't really. They're tricking you. What kind of sick toy are they pulling now? He demanded. He rolled her eyes before turning to Ruby. I think he needs a demonstration, she admitted. Ruby's grin had them all scrambling backwards for cover, and she pounced on Toby. He shrieked as she got a hold on him and attached a chocolate bomb. Jumping away, she set it off and dodged his furious blow, laughing all the while. Gonna have to try harder than that, cotton butt, she sing-songed, and skipped out of range again. I'll kill you, he screeched. Like I haven't heard that before. She rolled her eyes before whacking him over the head with Betty. Good enough demonstration? She asked with a sadistic grin, looking back at Hedy while Toby groaned at her feet. The mechanic nodded. She's the one you gotta be afraid of when you're here. She nodded while the bots nodded. She deadpanned while the bots nodded. Ruby skipped over to the originals. How do you swing that hard with only one arm? Bonnie asked curiously. I'm that good, she smirked. Jeremy dropped in a dead faint at that point. They stared at him silently before Ruby spoke up. Well, I'm bored. Who wants to play? The bots scattered with squeaks of fear. And that's the end of chapter 15. So we got to meet Jeremy. I'm guessing it's the same Jeremy from FNAF 2. When I say guess, it is the same Jeremy I think it's supposed to be, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you did, leave a like, go leave a review to let the author know what you think, to show some love for them. So, like I said at the beginning, chapter link is in the description below for you to go do that. So, go. We're done here. You don't need an account or anything. It just means the author can't respond back to you, like personal message and all that. So, also, you can keep reading if you want. You don't have to wait for me. You can just go, do it yourself. So, go. We're done here. And I'll be sure to subscribe. I'll upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next chapter of A Treasure Discovery.